Guys, the NHL trade freeze is Friday night, so not much time left for NHL GMs to get their work done. And Craig, we want you to play Christmas wish list. You're going to give us each Canadian team's biggest wish, and then Bruce, you let us know if you agree. So Craig, let's start with the Leafs.
They need skill. Bottom line is the top six isn't good enough, isn't deep enough, and to add even more skill, even a little bit deeper in the lineup would help them. When you look at where the Toronto Maple Leafs find themselves, the loss of Mitch Marner has harmed them in so many different ways. They got to find some type of replacement for Mitch Marner. It affects their offense. It affects their power play. Guess what? It affects some other players that they're counting on for offense as well.
You know what? I agree, and I think they need offense. And listen, I put some names together, and I don't know if they would work, but I think if you're trying to replace Mitch Marner, it's going to be hard to do that. But I mean, what about look at digging deep and going in? St. Louis is going to be. They just said that everybody's available. How about Jordan Kyrou? He's not doing it for them this year. He's a 30-plus goal scorer. He scored in the playoffs, and Craig Berube knows him really well. I think he would be a good fit. You know who else would be a good fit? I like Connor Garland there. He's an energy guy, and when the Leafs look down and depressed some games, he would be able to bring them up because he plays with such energy all the time. So I think those two guys would be great. I think they could go after, hey, Craig, how about Rasmus Andersson? I mean, who knows him better than the GM, and they know Calgary very well. And he's on an expiring contract. There's a guy that could run your power play. So, I mean, I think those are guys that they could get.
This is quite the wish list for the Leafs. Let's move on to the Montreal Canadiens now, Craig.
They need experience. They need a third-line center. I think Oliver Kapanen has done really admirable work as the second-line center there, but they need some experience. They need some guys with scar tissue. And you start to look at where that layer can help them. I look at Ryan O'Reilly. I think that he would be the ideal guy. If you're looking for the perfect gift, Ryan O'Reilly would be that guy. To Bruce's point earlier, you look at where Nashville finds themselves. I don't know who's available, but I would be trying to target a guy like Ryan O'Reilly. Stanley Cup experience, can do the heavy minutes, and can give support to that young group of players that are learning. You need some guidance. You need a teacher. You need mentors. I cannot think of somebody better than Ryan O'Reilly.
Totally agree. He was the guy I was thinking of. The only other guy I was thinking of was Nazem Kadri. Experience. They've won a cup. That's what Montreal needs.
Okay, you two make a good team. Craig, how about the Ottawa Senators' biggest wish?
I think they need another heavy forward that can take the heavy lifting and the burden from Brady Tkachuk's shoulders. Who do I have in mind? I have Mason Marchment. I love Mason Marchment. I think that a player like him can come in. You don't need scoring. They got scoring. They got offensive players. But somebody that's bulky, weighty, that'll get into the fray and take that away from Brady Tkachuk. It feels like Brady Tkachuk is the guy has to do it all the time. I need to alleviate some of that burden on Brady Tkachuk. I'd be phoning the Seattle Kraken, who are dipping in the standings once again.
It's a good answer. You know who I would look at? I would just sit there and say, hey, who have we traded with before? Let's go to Buffalo. Let's see what they want for Alex Tuch. Ottawa's only 3 hours from Syracuse. That's not far. If they can't sign him, go for that big 6'4", 225-pound winger. That's what I'm looking at.
All righty, let's keep moving ahead to the Western Conference, starting with the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, I think they need a second-line center, maybe a second-line winger. I had Alex Tuch as a perfect fit for the Winnipeg Jets. The other guy that I think would be a great fit in the second-line hole is Chandler Stevenson, another Seattle Kraken player. He's got term left on his contract. Yeah, you got to make the dollars work. No kidding. But if you want to make your team work, you need to fill that second-line spot. The second line is dysfunctional. It's not functioning in any way, shape, or form. It's got to be added to. It's not coming from within the organization. Alex Tuch, Chandler Stevenson. Why not go 2 for 1? 1 wish, 2 gifts.
Hey, you know, you're not right. I didn't go for an individual player with Winnipeg. I thought they needed 3 guys. I think they need the whole second line. Look at their first line. They've got 15, 16, and 16 goals. Nobody else on the team has more than 6. They can't win if they can't get at least a little bit of balanced scoring. So they need a whole second line, some guys that can score, take the pressure off of Scheifele and Connor and the other guy from
Velarde.
that they got from LA, Velarde. Sorry, and if they got to take the pressure off those guys, but they can't win unless they get some more scoring.
Okay, well, how about the Oilers, who already made one big move, landing Tristan Jarry? Craig, what's their biggest wish now?
Yeah, I don't think they need anything in their top two lines. I think ideally is they need to find somebody that they had and they traded and would be a great fit as a third line center, and that's Ryan McLeod. You know, I know they got Matty Savoy, great, and Matty Savoy's a local kid with skill. They need depth in the deeper part of their forward group. What has killed them against the Florida Panthers, and what will kill them once again, because they're not deep enough, is not having enough strength in their depth forwards. And they got to start with a third-line center. It's simply not good enough. Those top guys are so good. Hyman, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You can put different players in there, whether it be Podkolzin or Savoy. But after that, teams exploit that area of their team. If they are serious about contending for a Stanley Cup, that's an area they got to look at.
It's been the same problem for the last 5 years for Edmonton. They don't have any depth. And listen, I think Podkolzin is coming up, and in the second half is going to be really good for them. But they need guys like Adam Henrique to be the fourth line center. They need guys that can play evenly in the playoffs at the third and fourth line level. And they don't right now, which is why Draisaitl and McDavid play 24, 25 minutes a game. Until they get the depth of the fourth and third lines, they're not going anywhere no matter how good these other guys are.
Well, how about their rivals within the province, the Calgary Flames, Craig?
Well, their wish list is that lots of people phone them with their wish list. I mean, they got players. Bruce just talked about Nazem Kadri, talked about Rasmus Anderson. They're in a rebuild, retool, however you want to frame it. But I think they're receiving calls. I mean, it is now where all the letters are going from the team saying, we'd like this. Do you have this? Can you deliver this on Christmas Eve? Our chimney is open. You can land on our roof. That's where Craig Conroy and the Calgary Flames find themselves. And it continues to be about what they're trying to do to build out for the next 18 months to 24 months with their team.
You know, I hate agreeing with you all the time, but here it's the thing. Craig Conroy's sitting back up there, and he's not worried about, hey, I got to get the phone call. I got to get going here. People are going to be phoning him come February like crazy, and he's just going to be sitting on, do I want this deal, that deal, or that deal? They know that their lot in life is not going to make the playoffs this year. So, I mean, they want to get the best assets they can, and I think they've got a couple good assets to give, and they're just waiting for the best call. And it's not going to come at Christmas, but it's going to come a little later.
Okay, curious to see what happens there. And then, guys, let's finish with the Vancouver Canucks, who already brought in assets in the massive Quinn Hughes deal. What do you think, Craig?
Well, you can be greedy, but one thing too, like Bruce, I love when you agree with me. It just speaks to great minds, right? We think the game, we look at it all the same way. So I'm all good with that. Listen, if the Vancouver Canucks want to get greedy, they can go and get greedy. I think they made a fantastic trade given the circumstances they were dealing with. They didn't dither, they didn't wait, they didn't hope. They faced reality straight on. I think they got three good functional players, a player that has a chance to be a star in Bouillon. And now they're a little bit, okay, who else would have interest in certain players on their team? That's where the management can look at. But I think if they're looking to get another player or players in, it'll come through the players that might be appetizing to the other teams in the league.
Hey, if I wanted to get better, I would be greedy. They did make a good deal. But listen, here's what I would think about them. And if Thatcher Demko can stay healthy to the trade deadline and play like he's played the last couple games, boy, that would be somebody that I could just see an NHL Stanley Cup contender saying, if we could get him, we would win, and that's what it's all about. And they could make a great deal for Thatcher Demko, because the one thing I do know, they don't like guys that potentially could get injured and miss their career. It happened once when I was with them, and they don't like that. They want to move guys like that. So to me, if they could get something for Thatcher Demko that is above and beyond what they think is normal, that I think they could go for that and get a great return on Thatcher.
All righty. Those were quite the wish list. I'm sorry we don't have time to get to your personal wish list. There's also not much time between now and the NHL roster freeze. We'll see if any of these NHL wishes come true. Socks are easy, Craig. We can do that.